Hello, small business heroes. Welcome back to another episode of Small Business PR, where we make marketing and PR super accessible for the everyday small business underdog. Now, today I have my friend Xayli Barclay here. She is a camera confidence coach. She's just killing it in the video world. And the reason why I have her on here is that a lot of times product makers think, I'm just a behind the scenes gal. I don't need to be on video. Well, today's episode will completely transform the way you think about selling with confidence, how you build community, and increase the opportunities in your business with video. So welcome to the show.
Hi, Gloria. It's so good to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited.
So first things first, when you talk about camera confidence and the type of video, what exactly are we talking about? Are we talking about reels? Are we talking about workshops? Can you just break it down for us?
Yeah, well, usually when I meet someone, I want to understand where they are in their journey, because some people are just starting out. And so the easiest thing for them might be to get started on Instagram stories, right? Like just simple clips where they can be brave for a few minutes and it expires in 24 hours, right? Or if they're more seasoned and they're on camera, but they're not quite consistent, meaning that they're creating, but they're a little nervous every time they do, or they tend to overthink even getting on camera. We figure out, like, first of all, where your audience is, the people that you do want to serve and attract, or what's the goal of your content? Are you looking to create legacy content that people can go and look at, years from now? Whether you're looking for an evergreen way to attract people, then we figure out which platform is best for you. The platforms that I speak about a lot and recommend a lot are Instagram. YouTube is I love YouTube because of the longevity of the platform. So we kind of find a place for you depending on your goals.
I love what you said about longevity, because one of the things we love to talk about is SEO. SEO. And what's the point of making content if it's not going to fill all those buckets? And that's why for me, like PR and video podcasts is so important, not only because of the SEO, but because it's long form content that you can repurpose. So I know for the product owners who are listening, they're like, well, video content, do you mean like behind the scenes, like me pouring a candle, or do I actually have to show up on camera? What do you have to say about that?
I would say test and try. Like lately, so I was telling Gloria, I launched a line of cards, which I'm so excited about. They're called Camera Confidence cards. And lately I've been converting really well by just showing my hands and showing the cards. And I started dissecting the reason why. And I realized that the content on the cards speaks volumes and it directly connects with the person that's watching. Versus if I'm maybe promoting a free masterclass or something different, I may use my face and do a talking head video. So it's really, I would say test and try and you'll see what your audience loves. I will say when it comes to product-based businesses, a lot of us don't show how to use our product enough on camera. And people want to know how to use your product. What should I match these earrings with? How does it look on you or a model? And I think we're missing out on big opportunities there.
Ooh, I love what you said, because a lot of times we just focus so narrowly on here's the product, here's the benefits and features. But what you're saying is like there's so many relevant points that you can zoom out and connect with that gets people excited. It makes me think about this chai subscription. Like I love chai. And the reason why they got me to sign like a year subscription of this chai concentrate is because they simply sent me an email with like a video of them baking chai cookies or like doing like chai flavored walnuts. So all the ways that you can use the chai outside of what you think your customers are buying it for. What are some other ways or types of videos for product makers? I know you said, show people how you can use your product. What are some of the other ways or types of videos for product owners?
Yeah, I feel like, well, first of all, I'd like to dig into how-to videos a little bit more because I think sometimes we think about it in a one-dimensional way. And like you said, that company sent you a video of different ways that you can use the product. And I'm sure that someone can sit down and think about 5 different ways someone can actually use your product. Another type of video that I like to recommend is finding out what's happening around you. I think a lot of times we don't realize how much trends play into your business, right? So paying attention to the climate, what are people talking about? What is your audience interested in this moment? I've been using the Threads platform for this and it has been gold. And I'm actually selling a lot of products from Threads just because I'm having conversations with people and connecting. And what happens is they come over to Instagram and end up on a live stream. They end up looking at my videos that I've put there a while ago, which may not have gotten like 100,000 likes, but it's doing the job of nurturing that person through the process of buying. And so there, I mentioned another one, live video, game changer. Please get on live and build community. I think that sometimes we don't think about the community that you can build around a product. It's so powerful. So using video to build community is something that I wish more people did, because so many people are afraid of going live, right? Or nervous about the trolls, or if they look right, if they say something wrong, if their hair looks good, nails look good, like all of the things. But it's really about focusing on how you can show up and serve your community.
So I love what you said about community. We know that that definitely sells more and longevity. But in terms of live, here's my quip about live is that you might not catch the people right away. They might be popping in the middle of it with no context. Isn't it better to just like go on stories or record something that you can then repurpose on your Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts?
Yeah, every type of video has its perks, right? I feel like stories, yes, you can. And it depends on you. I like to say consistency is different for everyone, right? So if you feel like you don't have the time to go live, part of me wants to tell you, make the time and you'll see the difference in your business, honestly. But I understand that not everyone has the time to do something like that. And so you can use stories and then repurpose it to Reels. But I will tell you, I love testing. I'm creating every day. If you're on my platforms, you'll see like we're putting out content every day. And this is because we realize that when you repurpose, because it's created with another goal in mind, it may not work for for other parts of the platforms. Even if we're speaking about Instagram, sometimes you create something for stories and it won't do well on your feed. Everything has its purpose. And when you're creating, it's really smart to think about the intention of what you're creating and the outcome that you want from your client or customer. So I love stories for nurturing and getting people to know me, the real me on a deeper level, like off the feed, off the perfect grid. Get on stories. Let's connect. Let's talk face to face. You'll read my deepest thoughts. Like, everything nurturing is going on there. And then I'll ask for the sale. But when I go live, a lot of people who have been watching my stories, they convert almost instantly to customers because they've gone through the process of nurturing.
Oh, I love that so much. It's really about increasing the touch points. So you said stories are for nurturing. What about on the grid? What types of videos can take them closer to the sale?
Yeah, on the grid, I like educational on the grid, where I'm sharing more how-to content. And I also like conversational or trending, like, something that your audience is currently experiencing, like put it on the grid as well in the time that it's happening. For example, the eclipse happened recently. I live in Dallas. We were in the path of totality. And on my grid, I put a video of when it was bright. It was 1 p.m. during the day and it got completely dark. Like it was wild. And I recorded it, but I recorded it because I knew I could make it part of the conversation. Even though it's out of my realm, it's always good to create content that's kind of normal for normal people. I think as business owners, sometimes we only think about our clients and customers, and there's a balance of everyone is experiencing this. Let me put myself into what everyone is talking about because I'm a person at the end of the day. We all are people. And that video went viral, but it also brought me customers because I started speaking about the tool that I used to record the eclipse. Right. And so in sharing that, it's like, oh, so what tool do you use for XYZ? Or they were like, I see something in your studio. Can you tell me what that is over there? And so, it opened me up to a new audience that I may have never reached, but also I found a way to make it work with the other types of video that I do make sure that I'm doing inside of the business.
Yeah, I love what you said about having a mix because we know that like we don't want only educational talking head content. And that actually does the worst. And so of course that needs to be there. Like for my Instagram, for example, I'm going to splice up this conversation, but I always put like the meme stuff. I have stuff, B-roll footage of me biking and something about mindset. And those really work well. Do you have like a recommended schedule or an example of like what that split looks like?
I would say think about giving. So I give a lot. So I also sell a lot, but give to the people, right? So whether you do 3 posts where you're giving and you do one post that's more of like really deeply outright problem aware. So example, the other day, like, so an example of that would be the other day I shared 11 reasons why you won't show your face on camera. And that post did so well because it hit hard. Like it was a gut punch for a few people, right? And then you post a solution. So for me, I think about it as in I'm giving a lot on my feed. But when you get into my stories, we're having a bit of a different conversation. It's more outright and more solution based, as in this is what's going to help you.
Yeah, I do love that. You gotta mix it up. So, okay. So you have a mix of giving, of entertainment. Is there anything else that we should know in terms of what's working right now? Because everyone's testing all of these things, right? People are testing talking head, day in the life, behind the scenes, come travel with me, get ready with me. Are you seeing certain ones that work particularly well for product makers?
Yes, it's telling your story. Right. A lot of us don't tell our story enough. And the reason why I share that is because this works for any format, right? It would work on feed. It would work in stories. It would work in conversion. Like telling your story is what's going to make everything completely different for you. Another thing I want to say is you might get tired of telling the same story over and over again, but that is the goal because you're attracting new people every single day. For example, for myself, I used to write affirmations everywhere and I used to write them on post-it cards or stick them around. And I did that for so many years that I gathered affirmations. And that's what my camera confidence cards are created from. And when I tell that story, for me, I'm like, gosh, girl, you're going to tell this story again? Yes, because somebody that's in the live stream didn't hear it, or somebody that is on stories today that came from Threads or came from YouTube or came from somewhere else. They don't know that part of the story and they need to hear it. And so making sure that you're getting people to know you on a deeper level is magical. Even like, how did you, like, why this product? How did you start thinking about this product? Another thing for me was sharing the process of creating my product. When I started creating them, and I had the idea and I got the first set of cards and then I was picking colors and I was like doing all of the things. I was sharing it with my audience. And when I tell you we were able to sell out as soon as we released, it's because they were a part of that process. They were involved in the whole thing. So it's theirs as much as it's mine too.
Yeah, I love that. We have a couple candle makers and they're always testing the audience of like, hey, like, do you think we should make this scent or that scent? And she does a whole campaign around it and she's killing it. So I love that you're, getting people to buy into your vision. So let's get into like, so you talked about the different types of videos. Can we talk about what types of videos just aren't really working or that we should just not spend so much time creating anymore?
That's a good question. I will say test because different things work for different audiences. And sometimes like I'm doing something and someone else is doing something and it does different things for different audiences. The thing I will say is don't create content that doesn't feel true to you. So if you have to completely step outside of who you are and do things that are not comfortable, it's readable on camera. Right. So, and for me, if I'm struggling in that way, I'll use a story to teach versus, trying to teach 5 steps or 5 reasons why someone is doing X, Y, Z. So it's really more about being yourself and testing to see what works for you versus what doesn't work for you. What do you feel comfortable starting with versus what you don't feel comfortable starting with? I will also say, I just feel like just being authentic in all that you do will never get old, no matter what trend is happening, no matter what difference is happening. But nothing is wrong with doing something and even sticking to it. If something is working, do it over and over again. It doesn't have to be complicated.
I love what you said about being authentic and not following what everyone else is doing because it took me back to like peak COVID when everybody was doing those like pointing videos. And it's like, no one wants to see that anymore. Like, do you? And actually, one of our PR members, she does a lot of stuff while eating lunch in her car, like on her lunch break, and those do really well. So it has nothing to do with like, you have to be in the studio. So let's talk about the actual tactical parts of a video. Do you have like a recommended length of when, we should hit record and stop the video?
Well, it depends on like what type of video you're creating. Like we're seeing different types of reels do well. For example, we're seeing the ones that are looping and they are like only 6 seconds long. Those are really good for reach because of the amount of loops that someone has to go through to read a long caption. Then, the video garners that the platform realizes, oh, people are watching this, and they start pushing it out. So I use those intentionally to reach new people. But like I said before, like I make sure that I'm nurturing after that so that they're also going through a psychological process of understanding our product and what we do and all of that jazz.
One of our storytelling experts, Jude Charles, he talks about storytelling being a moment in time. And the more that you can start in the middle of it, the more captivating it is. Do you recommend people start the video and like just get to the point, or should there be some kind of introduction? But then does it ramble and you lose people? Like, what is your thought about that?
Yeah, no, that he has a valid point. I definitely cut out the introduction. Like when we're doing videos and, my husband is our editor and he puts like something juicy that I was saying at the top of the video and I have my intro like in the middle, they always do better. When we're creating, especially if you're creating content that is on a feed or on YouTube, the best thing to do is to assume these people don't know you, who you are, and what you do. You think about the problem that you're solving first. Right. So that is always very helpful. A lot of times we ramble and we think, hey guys, I haven't been around and this is why I haven't been around. And this is what, no, get to the point and you can give that part of the story after, or not at all. But think about it as these people don't know who I am at all. Another thing is just thinking about what you're doing. A lot of times we're so deep in the business that we're not taking ourselves out of it and actually thinking like, what would I want to see? Like what would make me want to buy this? And when you start thinking about it in that way, you start coming up with ideas that can help you to position things differently.
Yeah. I do love that. I mean, I think about all the videos with like those hooks and I'm like, what's going on there, as opposed to like, my name is so and so, and
Yeah.
I really do like that because everyone's just. I mean, I'm just looking at 50 different things at once, like 2x speed walking my dog. So it's kind of like get to it. Is there any other thing, kind of do's and don'ts for people who really just want to maximize their ability to capture people right away on video?
Yeah, sometimes we don't want to use those hooks, but those hooks work. Like observe yourself as well. Like you said, you're scrolling really quickly while walking your dog, but if a video stops you, ask yourself, what was it about this one? That's that. Like, why did I watch this one versus scroll past all the others? So there are different hooks that you can use, whether it's a visual hook, whether it is something that you say, whether it's the words that are on the screen. Understand who you're selling to and make sure that your hook is related to something that they are currently experiencing, processing, mistake they're making. So, so that you can stop the scroll. So that's one thing that I would say, like make sure that you're doing that. Sometimes it gets overwhelming, but when I tell you it works, it works. Just like I guess the pointing videos worked for some people, not for me, but for some people.
Yeah. Yeah. Any other tips when it comes to like lighting or sound, or, what if you like, I know a lot of people are like, well, I don't know what to say, I have to script it. And then they kind of just get lost because they put so many barriers before they even turn on the camera.
Yeah, that is very common. I think a lot of times we go through the whole process of, I saw a video, maybe I should create a video. Oh my gosh, I'm going to create a video. And you're about to hit record and you don't know what you're going to say. And I think that a lot of people think about video last in their business when I believe that video should be first in your business, meaning that you need to think about like, what is the goal of this piece of content that I want to create? And I get it. Like I'm spontaneous too, but every time I plan my content, I plan out my hook, what I want to say, the problem that they're experiencing. I have a story that's connected to it that I want to make sure to tell. I have like 3 bullet points that I want to touch on, no more than 3, because we don't want to overwhelm and be long and drawn out. If you do have time and people are engaging, then you can do more if it's a live stream. And then I have my recap and my summary. When we plan things out properly, they will always be more valuable to the person that's watching. And it will always be more valuable to you because someone is understanding what you're saying and they're taking in that nurturing, like, okay, I understand this. Now I want more because this person is creating valuable content versus just creating what they see others doing or being sporadic about it all.
Yeah, I love what you said about threes. I like to teach threes as well, like 3 bullet points,
Yes.
3 main thing, more than 3, it's too overwhelming. And you want to have enough so that there's some kind of dynamism. If someone's not interested in the first one, at least you have other things to choose from. I love that. What about so you talked about the beginning of the video, hook them right away. Do you have any tips for how do we end the video so that we actually get them to feel compelled to take the next action, whether that is to subscribe, like, follow, or buy?
I think we don't ask enough, ask, say it, outrightly. Like, if you love this content, make sure that you're subscribed. In the next video, I'm going to talk about XYZ. And when you give something that makes someone want to stick around for more of what they already liked because they got to the end, that's going to be game changing. Right. So, don't be afraid to ask people to subscribe. Also, don't be afraid to share what's coming or what you're doing. For example, this morning I shared with my team that I want to create a list of the next few episodes or interviews on the podcast in a graphic format so people can know psychologically what to look forward to because, I want to know more about this topic or that topic, think about it in that way, kind of like TV programming. Remember the TV guides? You would get your TV guide and you would know what you want to watch and you would know the time that is happening and you'd be totally sold on the entire experience versus just one piece or part of or one episode of what you're watching.
Oh, I love that so much. It's coming up next week.
Literally.
Yeah.
It worked. If we go back to TV and, just television on the whole, there are things that work. First of all, timing. Make a time, 8:00 on Thursday nights. You guys know we're always live. You want to tune in and meet the rest of the community. That in itself is psychological. It lets people know that you're showing up at a specific time every Thursday. It's like an episode, right? So if you think about your live streams like that, you will see a difference. I promise. The second thing, and then you have your evangelists who've been there. They're always there. And other people see how you're reacting to them and how they're reacting to you. They want to be a part of it. Okay, there's a community here. I want to be part of this community. Just things like that. Psychologically, sameness, it does work.
Yeah. I love that. It's all about getting people to give you a little bit more attention in their busy day. Now, we are in the age of AI, ChatGPT. I feel like every day we're targeted with a new video software. So can you talk to me about the ones that actually can save you time and the ones that just are really not that great yet?
Yeah, you and I were speaking about the program that I use, which is Ecamm Live. Now, I've used Ecamm for, I want to say, I think since 2015 or 2016 or somewhere around there. It was very early and I've grown with this platform. I've grown with the tool and they keep growing the tool. I am the type of person that likes familiar things. And so in that, I like to pick a tool and evolve with it. You don't have to get everything that's out there on the market. So for video, I use Ecamm. It can work with a fancy camera. It can work with your phone and you can do so much with it. You can record podcast episodes. You can live stream. Ecamm has made me a lot of money and over the years, and I'm super grateful for it. Also, I do like using ChatGPT. I know that there are others out there, but I feel like as long as you learn how to dance with ChatGPT, you can get it to do all of the things that the other things are doing. So I don't believe that you have to get every AI tool that's out there. I think it's really good to build a stack of tools that you really love and keep using those tools over and over. So those are just 2 examples of tools I love.
What about those video editing ones like Opus Pro that if, for this video, it'll take tidbits so I don't have to hire someone to edit my video for me?
Agreed. That's one that I would use. I do love Opus Clip. And yes, you figure out what you need something for and then you go for it. But also I will say, going back to tools I love, I like using CapCut and I pay for CapCut Pro. I think I pay $9 or $10 a month for it. And it also does the same thing. So explore your tools to see what is already covered versus paying for a lot of different, subscriptions. Just a tip when you're
Yeah.
starting out.
And I think so many things are AI enabled now. Even I think Zoom has little clip
Yes.
suggestions for you. So, a lot of times they do something similar. I could go on and on about this. Is there anything else about video and how that's changing that you've noticed? Because, you're someone who is teaching this and you have a group of entrepreneurs and leaders and product makers who are doing video. Anything that's changing, you think, in the next 6 months for video?
That's a really good question. I feel like what's really popular right now is voiceovers, and I think it's going to keep evolving. So for the people who don't like being on camera or speaking to camera, embrace. And I have a lot of these on my profile as well, because like I said, I love testing everything. I have lots of B-roll clips where I am, in the studio doing something, or I'm filming, or even while we film this podcast, I have a camera that's running. I have my little Osmo Pocket. It's running and it's recording us. And I'm going to take that content and lay a voiceover over it, tell a story, share a lesson over it. And, that's something that I don't see it going anywhere anytime soon, because there's that comfortability of, okay, I don't have to always be face to camera, which can get overwhelming. So I'm not here to tell you like, get on camera every day and all of that. There are ways where you can show your hands working. You can just put your camera over the product. I just got a product called the Canvas lamp, and I'm loving it because that's how I'm able to do that overhead stream, and they only see my hands and the product. There are lots of different ways that you can actually show up more consistently. And you're using just, yourself using your product and your voice.
Oh, that's so good. I'm about to get married soon. So I'm thinking I should do a voiceover with that, because that is one thing that's underutilized that people love, whether it's cooking, whether it's day in the life, whether it's shopping. But yeah, I have so much B-roll. I actually, and you probably do this too. I'm always filming B-roll of me like making coffee or cutting kale, and I put it all into one iCloud album. And so anytime I need content, I'm just pulling from there. But I should do a voiceover. It's about time. So that's a good reminder.
It. Yeah, it's so good, and it's so easy, and it allows you to be present with whatever you're doing and not thinking about the camera's on and I need to be doing XYZ. It just gives you room to be. And then you go put a bomb voiceover using the same structure I shared earlier with your hook and your story, just so that you're touching all of the points that you'd like to touch.
Yeah, I love that so much. Yeah, I think I'm going to actually make one.
Yay!
And thank you for that. Well, this was so awesome. Your cards are amazing. I have actually seen them in action, and you're right. It is literally just your hands and the cards, and they're doing so well. How can people find you? If someone wants to learn more about camera confidence for any niche that they're in, how can they follow you and get to know you?
You can definitely follow me at Xayli Barclay everywhere. And we also have the Brave on Video account over on Instagram, and that's Brave on Video.
And can you spell your name for everyone so they can find you?
Sure. Yes. It's XayliBarclay. Connect with me, jump into my DMs. I'm always in my DMs like almost all day because listen, DMs has a lot of money in it. So don't forget about being in your DMs as well if you do have that time. But for me, I'm always in the DMs, just not only selling, I'm always nurturing and connecting with people. I love my community. So let me know that you are here if you do.
I think one thing before we hop up is like, we as women of color, right? We're not taught to like take up space, whether it's in the interwebs or just be seen. On. This is such a sacred work for me. And I think for you too, it's like, we have so much to overcome. And I think by doing this work, we are literally rewriting generations worth of stuff. So this is a sacred duty that we need to do, is to take up space and just see ourselves reflected in all the things. And so that's why I had you on. Thank you so much for your mission. Thank you so much for what you do. As always, if you know any small business owner who would benefit from listening to this podcast, please rate, review, send it to them, and have your business bestie feel confident to be on video, because video does work. It's exactly what we need to do to sell. I don't care what industry you're in, what product you make, you need video. So hopefully today's episode gave you lots of things that you can take away to make that first or third video or fifth video. And by the end of the weekend, you can DM me and Xayli and say, hey girl, I took your formula and here's my video, and we'll give you feedback. Thank you all so much. Until next time.
Thank you.